Hey, Vince, remember that time we talked to the Toronto mayor about the police chief? No, not the one that did crack, the one before that. Right after the G20, you remember the largest mass arrest in Canadian history, about how that was completely mishandled and completely punted in the wrong direction? Well, I remember that the mayor had something to say about that.
We're lucky he was the police chief for the G20. And
why is that?
I really felt that the protests against him were incredibly misplaced. Just picture his predecessor being the police chief of Toronto during the G20.
That's not my bar.
Looks like that's the bar of the Liberals, too. Bill Blair might run for the Liberals and take on, hey, look, another show connection, Dan Harris, who once said this about us.
Yesterday, the Prime Minister accused the NDP of not doing enough to stop Hitler. I'm sure the NDP's founding members would have found this pretty strange when they first gathered in 1961. Last night, tens of thousands of Canadians responded with an outpouring of social media comedy. In the spirit of cooperation, I'd like to offer the Prime Minister some great suggestions for next week's attacks on the NDP. Comedian Dan Speerin led things off last night by tweeting, "Damn you, NDP, for not standing up to Genghis Khan."
I like plugging the show. So, Vince, here's my question to you. Is he liberal? What's the Liberal Party all about? And what the hell is going on with the Liberals and Bill Blair?
Somehow, Bill Blair actually believes that his values are matching up nicely with Justin Trudeau's values. How is this happening? I have no idea. I still don't know what Justin Trudeau's values, let alone platform is. So if Bill Blair knows, maybe I should call him and ask him about it.
Yes.
And even if you buy him as a Liberal police chief, I don't. I mean, the thing that I have still a lot of problems with is the carding situation, right? And he doesn't seem to think it is actually the same as racial profiling. He's actually talked about it in interviews. We talked about it in CP24. And I really have a problem with this issue, and it just doesn't seem to register. And I'm just curious to say, especially in the riding that he's running in, which is Scarborough Southwest, whether he will be able to get people to actually side with him.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with what you're saying, and I'm going to add this to the pile. This is another glaring example of what makes me so depressed about Canadian politics all the time, which is the center, which is essentially right-wing. The idea that John Tory was a centrist candidate or a liberal candidate to some people in Toronto scared the hell out of me, and the idea that Bill Blair is a liberal police chief, that's not what liberal means. We need to redefine these words back into their proper columns. And this is an ongoing Canadian problem. But here's the thing. Is Bill Blair considered liberal amongst people? I think he is. And even amongst the right wing, they don't think he was hard enough on. Carding is absolutely ridiculous. What happened at the G20, I will never forget, but I think a lot of Canadians have. That event was one of the most ridiculous things that ever happened in this country, and the fact that it didn't make more people pick up torches and head downtown, not to burn police cars, but just to be upset at their government, that drives me crazy. Liberals and Bill Blair, though, hey, guess what? I'm pretty sure if Eve Adams is okay in the Liberal Party, everybody's okay in the Liberal Party. I don't know what's going on besides let's just win, but I have a feeling that Dimitri Suda's playbook must have said kettle the vote, and that's why we have Bill Blair.